What Pet Should I Get? My name is Julia Batchelor. I am so happy to be back. I want to thank both Sarita Patel and Jacqueline Betterton for filling in my absence. We have an excellent program for you today. Shelby Harmathy will be here from the Ontario SPCA, and of course Claire Forndren will be here from Dogtails Rescue and Sanctuary. Up first we have Susan Kelly and Chris Slik here from Vaughan Animal Services, and they have brought an adorable little girl named Fila. But before we talk about Fila, I want to talk about something that's really key. You guys have an upcoming rabies clinic that's happening on May 25th.
24th.
Sorry, it's 24th.
That's okay.
Just came back from vacation. So tell us all about this clinic.
It's going to be in the evening, and it's from 5 to 9 p.m. by appointment. All you need to do is call the shelter if you want to make an appointment. We're going to be doing rabies vaccines as well as microchip implants and City of Vaughan licensing for those residents who want to update their license. So
the cost to that, is that different than if you're going to see a veterinarian? Is that why you guys are doing this? Yeah,
it is. It's subsidized. We just do the rabies vaccine, so it's not a full workup or full vaccine profile. So because we're just doing these rabies vaccines for public health is our main focus there. It's $25 for a microchip.
That's a great price.
$20 for a rabies vaccine, $20 for a license. So you could get all three done for $65.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Now, we were talking off camera about how important getting a rabies vaccination is for, well, all animals, because this is a disease that is transmittable between species.
Yes.
And I was saying that on my recent vacation in Panama, we encountered a lot of dogs.
Wild dogs.
Yeah, wild dogs. I mean, friendly dogs, but wild dogs. And one of the people that was on the resort got bit, and her skin was punctured. And I said, well, she didn't get a rabies vaccine because, you know, and she was watching manifesting, seeing if anything manifested over the days. And then you had told me that it takes how long?
It can be 6 to 9 months of incubation time from the time of exposure. Now, the only caveat to that is the animal that actually bites, if they do have rabies, they're a 10-day. They will die within 10 days if they're actually positive for rabies. So it's only towards the very end of the disease stage that they actually are infectious. But for the person, if they're bitten by a dog and they don't know the outcome, or any animal, raccoon, wild animal, it can take 6 to 9 months to actually get to the part of you where you're starting to get really sick. So, and it's fatal. In all species, it's fatal.
So you can talk to us then exactly what is it that rabies does. Chris, can you tell us exactly what is it that when you get bit, or is that better for you to answer, Susan?
Either one of us can. I mean, it's spread through saliva. So the infective animal who's doing the biting, it would be in their saliva. It's a virus. So whenever a person or another animal is bitten, wherever the wound is, the virus enters the wound, but then it has to make its way through the nervous system. It ends up in the brain and the salivary glands, and that's when the disease proliferates and carries on. But by the time it gets to the brain is when we start to see symptoms and signs of
neurological disorders.
Neurological,
so I guess an animal or a human would not be able to walk, would affect breathing.
Vocalizations, breathing, there can be seizures, there can be all these things. The problem with wild animals is it can present very similar to distemper, because that's also a neurological disease in the raccoon or skunk species. So that's the problem, that just seeing an animal, you can't assume it's one or the other. And rabies is only diagnosed at necropsy, so after death.
Oh.
There's no way to know ahead of time, so that's why we're careful. We vaccinate to prevent it, and that's with any vaccine or any disease that's going to be harmful to a population. Vaccination is the way to prevent it, not try and treat it after it's happened.
So if you haven't had your pet vaccinated yet, make sure you mark May 24th on your calendar. Now, because you are Vaughan Animal Services, is that available to everybody through the region, or is that for people in your catchment area?
It's anybody that wants to make an appointment. We're happy to help.
Yeah, any municipality.
Yep.
And do you have a capacity of how many people you can take in, or is it just jab and go, jab and go?
Right now, no. It's very quick, so they're not getting a physical exam or anything, but it is being done by a licensed veterinarian who volunteers their time to come in and do that to help us out.
We make appointments between 5 and 10 minutes, but if somebody walks in, we're not going to turn people away.
Them?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. We want to get as many animals vaccinated as possible.
Well, your website will be on our website, so if you want information, you want to book an appointment, it's probably better than walk-in, I'd say, for your purposes.
Weight.
Yeah,
less weight.
Make sure that you do so. The other thing I wanted to ask you too about rabies, because you're saying it could take a long time to manifest. For example, the dog in Panama, this dog, I personally didn't see it, but the dogs that we saw running around the beach, I would never assume any of those dogs had some sort of neurological ailment or a communicable disease because they don't look like it.
Right.
Is there anything that you can look for to think that an animal might be rabid?
Well,
and this obviously not the late stages, right?
Well, the late stages is when they're dangerous. If they're in an early stage, they're not dangerous.
They look like a normal dog.
Then you're not likely going to be at risk at that point. It's the late stages that puts you at risk. So it's when you start to see those neurological signs, any change in gait or salivating or strange behavior. Sometimes, you know, they'll fall over and like I said, they can seize and all sorts of things. So anything, it may be quite apparent in the late stages. There are some animals though, horses for example, they can get they call it a dumb rabies, where they don't show a lot of symptomology and they're still infected. So horses are less likely to bite a human. Yeah. You know, when you look at the
they may die and you wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't even know, right? With horses and cows and that sort of thing.
And if and now I know with humans, if somebody, well, is it treatable?
No.
So even if a human being gets contracts rabies, there's nothing that can be done for them?
They hit them very quickly with a series of vaccines. It's basically like a vaccine to try and get the immune system up and going before that becomes systemic. But if you actually develop the disease, it's fatal in all species.
Okay, on that happy note, another reason to get your animals vaccinated, but another part of that is to say you're getting microchipped. Now, obviously, the key thing to having your pet microchipped is if they get lost, they're usually easily found if they're picked up by an organization such as yourself. But in the case of Fila. In case of Fila, I mean, we think she may have been somebody's pet, but that time frame has passed to that nobody has claimed her, so she is available for adoption.
She is, yeah.
And she wasn't microchipped, right?
No, she was not.
But she probably is now.
She is microchipped now.
Yeah, so tell us about Fila before we run out of time.
Oh, okay, no problem. So Fila is an older poodle mix. We're not quite sure exactly what she is because she did come to us as a stray. She was extremely matted and had some dental issues and some masses on her that we've had removed and got her spayed and clipped her all up.
She's so adorable.
Yes, she is, and she loves toys.
She does. She loves.
Does,
yep.
Yeah.
Like we got little Minnie Mouse here for her.
Oh, do you want to go
she's
see
excited.
that?
So and even though she's a senior dog, we said that she has tons and tons of energy, and she'd be great for any home.
Yes.
And have you assessed her with other dogs or with cats?
She's good with some other dogs, but because she can't see very well, she doesn't like them running up to her.
Okay,
oh,
so maybe she would be good for like maybe a single pet. She'd be a single pet household.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
thank
because
you guys.
she's older too, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for being on. And if you are interested in adopting Fila or signing up for the clinic that's happening on the 24th, please visit our website for more details, and we'll see you on the other side of the break. All right.